We saw, too, the epic incompetence of this regime in so many ways. Epic incompetence in handling COVID-19 was made plain throughout the pandemic. The vaccination rate in Iran is among the lowest in the world, not because the vaccine is not available. Indeed, we offered it to them, but because the regime refuses to accept those vaccines from those prepared to provide them. The regime's epic incompetence in quest for nuclear power has made it a pariah even among its fellow Muslim nations. Its epic incompetence in simply ruining the nation has made food and gas and basic staples unaffordable. The nation's ability to respond to natural floods, natural disasters, earthquakes, well, it's relatively non-existent today. Iran is not working, and the people of Iran know it. And as for President Raisi, he's not the president of the people of Iran. He's the president simply appointed by the Ayatollah, and his mission is clear: inflict pain, frighten, continue to loot and plunder. But you should know. You should know Raisi has already failed. He has failed to crush the uprisings in Iran or break the noble spirit of dissent within the Iranian people. And the resistance is part of making that happen. I remind my friends who sometimes forget the simple fact that it may be the case that Iran is the greatest breaker of treaties in the history of the world. Unfortunately, some in the West, including in the current administration, want to keep the regime on life support. Their devotion, their commitment to reviving the failed nuclear deal presents real risk to the work that the people of Iran are trying to achieve. We watched the regime, just in September of this year, turn away inspectors from the International Atomic Energy Association. They refused to permit compliance with a set of agreements that they signed up for, that they had agreed to. And we also know, based on the seizure of a trove of documents, that Iran never fully gave up its commitment to have the capacity to build a nuclear weapon. It was keeping a reference library of its nuclear program, its nuclear weapons program. For what other purpose would one keep such documents other than to revive such a program, to build on such a program, to complete such a program in the future? We know, too, that they continue to enrich uranium at Fordow in violation of their agreement, something that is clearly forbidden by promises that they made. Let's be clear. Iran never complied with their agreements. In fact, we should note they never intended to. The individuals and organizations that the United States is contemplating lifting sanctions on would be a huge step backwards. I pray that this will not be. You should know that the work you do, talking to elected officials in Washington, D.C., and all throughout Europe and the world, makes them stronger, makes them understand, helps them appreciate what's truly good for the people of Iran. Stay at it. Continue to do this work. It matters, it is important, and it has its intended effect. Yes,